Um, so the other aspect I really wanted to talk about is networks. And we talk a bit about networking as an important skill. And I struggle with this. As I said, I'm not great at talking to people. As IFSA president, that was my role and my responsibility, was to often build relationships and be in conversation with others. But I can't tell you, there have been some VIP dinners that I just like ran away from because I just didn't have the energy. And as I've gotten older, I've learned to be more comfortable with what networking is. And that's why it's a bit of a tough word, but I want to give you two pieces of information. The first is that research shows that there's strong ties and that there are weak ties. So if you think about the strong ties are the people who you regularly are in touch with, people who know you well, or people who are supporting you in your journey. These can be your mentors, your professors, your good friends. It can be a sponsor, someone who's looking out for you and giving you new opportunities. And then you have your weak ties. So your weak ties could be, if you're an IFSA, then that whole IFSA universe, the alumni, everyone, those are weak ties. You haven't tapped into it yet, but there's an opportunity. Different professional associations, your university can be one. And if you map these out and you find that you don't actually have a lot of weak ties or maybe you have a lot of strong ties, I want to share with you that they find that 85% of people find a job through their weak ties. So while we spend a lot of energy trying to build really strong personal relationships with people, and while it's incredibly valuable to have a mentor, I would invite you to start to cultivate the networks in which you are engaged in, because those networks can be really powerful in helping you find a next opportunity and helping you learn more about yourself and building different skills. So think about those weak ties. And it's okay if you don't have a lot of close relationships. So when you think about networking, there's the strong and the weak ties. And then there's a strong element of pressure, I think, that we put on ourselves, that we should be explaining, who we are, what we want, and know every detail about what our future holds. But I've found it very liberating to approach conversations by keeping that experimental framework of, who are the three versions that I'm playing around with, and then to be very honest with the people that you're engaging with in learning more about their careers and learning more about their pathways, and taking whatever resonates and bringing that into my toolkit. So this is something I would invite you all to think about as we move forward throughout this day. What resonates with you is a good indicator. If something excites you, if you meet someone in the living library and you love what, the energy that they're bringing and the skills they're talking about, continue to note those things down and map that out as you think about, what are the skills you want to build? What are your potential future options? And just always use that as an indicator for a good sign, because ultimately, you want to build a career for yourself that doesn't feel ideally like work. That may not always be possible, but it is really exciting when you're passionate about something. It's really exciting when you feel like you're bringing your skills to the table. And for me, I've learned that communication is absolutely critical. So, hopefully if you need it, attend the public speaking workshop. And this is communication, both in written form and in speaking. And in addition to that, I would say learning how to create impactful and memorable moments. When you bring stakeholders into a room, you have an opportunity. This can be, a moment that they're going to remember. This could be a place where new partnerships and new perspectives are built, where people leave the room thinking differently. So learning how to build your capacity to bring together meaningful events and bring together meaningful conversations is really important. And then, of course, our last session on digitization, on keeping up with the pace of change in this world and staying on top of what innovation looks like, is also really, really critical.